Good morning, everyone. Eduardo, thank you for being here with us at our stand today. Um, I'll start with the first question. Could you explain why REDES decided to implement the Flexi pilot project? What are the main objectives and what does it take to bring it to life?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for inviting me to discuss a little bit about our pilot project, which is, we call it FlexC, is a short for flexible connections. So this pilot is all about the energy transition. Actually, the energy transition is accelerating, and we as a distribution system operator will need to do massive investments to cope with the speed actually of the energy transition. And besides that, these investments, since the energy transition is growing at an increasing pace, we actually need to do some kind of other things to manage it, which is flexibility. And within the flexibility scope, we are pursuing different projects, whether it be flexibility service, markets, local flexibility markets, whether it be flexible connections. And one of the use cases that we have discussed is our flexible connections project, which is a kind of a flexible connection in residential collective buildings to help the users to charge their electric vehicles and to actually foster the adoption of electric vehicles, since this is one of the key areas where if people if people have to charge their vehicles, they will adopt the electric vehicles if they can charge at home. So that's the two things that we actually want to do with our project, which is introduce some kind of flexibility and flexibility service, and the other one is to foster, the adoption, the overall adoption of electric vehicles.
Okay.
So now a question for you now. As Filipe said, you are one of the first partners that we have in this project, in this Flexi project. For you, what does it mean to be one of these first partners, and what do you think you can get from our pilot projects?
Okay. So it's very important for us to be one of the first participants in the pilot. 𝘍𝘭 has identified more than 2 years ago that being able to charge in multifamily apartment buildings is an enabler for the adoption of e-mobility. If you look at the numbers, around 75% of the charging sessions happen in private spaces, and 45% of Europeans live in apartments. So the market is there, the need is there. Cell by itself has advanced algorithms that can charge around 5 times more cars than non-managed systems. And our dynamic load balance can make the most of around 90% of the energy available during the night to charge the cars, instead of the typical 30%. However, this has a limit, and that limit, the maximum available power over a certain period of time, is where Flexi comes into play. So if you can increase this without a significant investment for the residents, for the condominium, even if in a temporary manner when the apartments are not using the power, this can be a game changer. So we are thrilled to be taking the most out of this pilot, where we can effectively charge more cars with a better user experience. Regarding the second part of your question, it was quite a straightforward process to bring it to life. So REDES gave us the details of an API. We just had to create that API and test it in our office building. In short summary, we have edge at the building. You have your hardware, and we have the APIs transmitting data from one hardware to the other, and then we let our algorithms do the rest. So it went really well. One more question from my side. So the pilot has been running for a few months, and we know our own experience. It's been going really well, but how is it going in the general pilot with other companies? How is the performance, and have you had any surprises from the field?
Well, actually, and I wanted to take a little of a step back in the conversation just to explain that this is a project where actually we aim to increase which is not explained before, but we aim to increase the capacity to charge the vehicles within these collective buildings without requiring any grid updates. So that's the major point regarding that. So taking that point, what we do with it is that we have some equipment there. So we put a specific grid monitoring equipment at the entry of the building, where we can manage, so at near real time, what is the real consumption of the collective building. And with this kind of information, and together with our smart meter that we have inside the collective buildings, we have another device, what you call a power management module, that with both readings actually can redirect the available capacity that is not being used to charge the electric vehicles. So this is a very technologically heavy solution from our side. Okay, instead of just building new cables and increasing the overall capacity of the building, which true, we didn't we actually explored these kind of technological solutions in-house. We did some pilots before going to the field in real customers and real consumers, and we tested and the technology worked. So this gave us some peace of mind to actually go forward with it. During the implementation phase, we actually encountered a lot of challenges. Some of our technological pieces of the solution needed to be changed. For instance, there was, at the entrance of the building, sometimes there was no connection for 4G connection for data that we needed to adapt. We also needed to adapt the equipment itself, because sometimes the cables are hard to reach and we need to move from regular intensity or current transformer to Rogowski coils, and those were the kinds of adjustments that we needed to do in the field in order for this to continue up for the pilots to actually run its course. In terms of challenges, what we have been encountering so far is that our equipment that were fast prototypes in order to make this all work and to do this proof of concept and hopefully get it to market in the future were not that robust, and they are currently very operational intensive for us. They give us a little bit of trouble and needs to have people, and we need to have people dedicated seeing what's going on and acting fast. And for the future, one of the key areas that we aim to actually resolve is to make the solution a little bit more robust as well. So the last question that I have for you, Filipe, is that since you have been working with this pilot from 6 months, almost 6 months, like 5 months now, that the pilot is live. What has been the experience that your EV users at the collective building have felt so far with this project? If they're happy, if they're not happy, what are the kind of insights that they give you?
So in this particular building where we're running the pilot, with Flexi, we almost doubled the power available to charge the cars. That means that we don't have to do as many smart charging interventions on the charging sessions. That means that the customers can charge the car at a higher power or for a longer time. So they effectively have the cars fully charged or almost fully charged on the morning every day. So that has increased the customer satisfaction a lot. It has contributed to reduce the range anxiety and also to increase the confidence and the idea of reliability of the system. We have also had 20% more users within the building. So and we every now and then we get questions about new customers wanting to join, and that is a relief for the building management that they can have more customers or more residents charging because they know that they have Flexi. So the experience has been really good.
Eduardo, you mentioned about the connectivity, but this is one of the biggest issues that we have, right, in terms of the installations. How do you approach those situations?
Actually, we approach the situations case by case scenarios. Actually, this is a project that has been ongoing for just a small project. It's been set up in 5 different buildings across here Lisbon, in the Lisbon area. And since it is a very small project, we were able to actually get our hands dirty and figure out the specific issues within each case, which will not be something that we will going to be able to do for the future, particularly if we have a rollout where this escalates. So we actually use lots of solutions like more powerful antennas, changing the places where the antennas are, actually strengthening the signal, not from these devices, these new Flexi devices, but of our smart meters as well, by installing filters. Our smart meters connect through power line communications, installing filters. So we have done a lot of different actually things to improve connectivity. And we are still pursuing another, like for instance, using our PVNO system, which selects the carrier with the telecom carrier with most
That is closest.
with the strongest connection, I would say, in the area, and automatically change. So that has been the things that we have been implementing, and we have a, but that's what's clear for us is that we need to build on some of these experience and actually improve our equipments and our specifications in order to go to the rollout of these products. Definitely.
I have a couple of questions, one for you and for you both. It's like, for you, is we know the impact of this in terms of energy charge because of the Flexi project in our specific pilot, and for you, I would say, is it really a success? Do you find good to scale it up to the mass market? And when are we getting there, or any further trials? Where are we in respect to that?
Filipe, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I don't have the metrics here, but generally, we have the feedback that all of the customers have the battery fully charged now in the morning, and that wasn't the case before. So it was a very smart charging intensive building. So almost every charging sessions were interrupted. So it's a very particular building that during the night has very powerful ventilators. So you have two hours less to charge the cars, and now in the morning everyone is happy. I can give you
So before
this metric.
that's what you're saying.
Before they had enough kilometers for the daily commute, but they didn't have the batteries fully charged in the morning.
So for me, it's like, when are we, or what are our expectations for the future of this project? So we actually believe a lot in this project. So there was one key issue that actually, as I said previously, the energy transition is accelerating, and the acceleration of the energy transition brings 2 kinds of challenges for the distribution system operators. Challenge number 1 is an increase in the connection requests. So every time that there's a new building where they're going to install chargers for charging the electric vehicles, and currently there is no power available because we don't have Flexi, and since there is no power available to charge the vehicles, we'll need to do an increase increase of grid capacity. So that's a request for us that we need to handle, together with all other requests that we're getting from the energy transition, whether it be PVs, whether it be for electrification of other consumption like heat pumps or whatever. So this is one way that this is accelerating, and we need to serve them, okay? The second is, this is actually an increase in consumption as well. It's not only new connections, but also when you're getting much more EVs and much more consumption into the grid, so the grid will be more congestion, and we'll need more increases as well, and it bring other kinds of operational challenges. So, and because this is increasing at a very, very high pace, there is actually no way that we can upgrade everything in time that people want their vehicles to be charged or their consumptions to be electrified. And because of that, we need to blend some other options, and this is where flexibility comes into place in these projects. And now, instead of doing the investments that in the grid increases right away in these specific places, of course, we'll still need to do the investments, and the investment will be made to accommodate all the electric vehicles. But instead of doing and pursuing this just to grant the new capacity for connection of new EVs, what we aim to do is to offer these kind of solutions. And with this solution, we can delay a little bit the investment in these specific areas and focus where the investment is needed. And then afterwards, we can come to these areas where the Flexi is being rolled out and do the increase. So this is our expectation as a DSO. The second question you asked was, when do you see this rolled out as a commercially available solution? So now this is a very small pilot. For us, it was a big step, moving on to the proof of concept in the lab to real scenario with real customers, with real charging vehicles, everything that is real. So this is a big step. And although there are only 5 buildings, this is a big step for us. We need to get the regulatory approval from our NRA and so on. So this is a big step. What we have as in the approval from our regulator was a 2-year period where we can extend the pilots while we develop the rollout solution to get this commercially and regulatory as well approval to be available to anyone who wants this kind of solution. So ballpark, that's where we are. We aim to have, of course, a solution in a couple of years' time that anyone can ask, and it can be rolled out. In the meantime, we will have some improvements as well to the current solution. So because of some technological constraints, we are limited to a certain level of power. In Portugal, we call it normal low voltage, which is a kind of service that is up to 41 kilowatts. And above that, we have special low voltage, which is more than 41 kilowatts. So the first step that we wanted to take is to make the solution as well to go not only be kept at the 41, but can be increased to the other level of power, and hopefully can use more of the available energy of each building that is currently on the pilot or that's going to join us in future waves. So it's a stepped approach. We hope to have it, in short, stepped approach. We hope to have it somewhere down the road, like 2 years or something like that.